I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Village Board for February 25th, 2025. Will you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
President DeSimone,
Here.
Trustee Carmona,
Here.
Trustee Franz,
Here.
Trustee Fry,
Here.
Trustee Lomax,
Here.
Trustee Pinicola,
Here.
Trustee Perez.
Here.
That's 7.
So I do not regularly respond to public comment, but recent statements were made to specifically mislead residents. So let me state some facts. It is up to the residents of Bensenville to decide if they want to change our form of government. When our village was established in 1884, it was a president and board of trustees form of government, and for over 100 years, the village operated that way. The village became a statutory manager form of government by referendum. It is now 2025, and a referendum on the April ballot will determine if there will be a change in the form of government in the village. The law is very clear. If the managerial form of government is abandoned, the village will return to the president and board of trustee form of government like it was before. The village will not become a strong mayor form of government because the referendum is not on the ballot. The only referendum on the ballot is for the village to stop being a managerial form of government. All my opponents are trying to mislead residents. The president and board of trustees form of government is the most common in Illinois and makes the entire board accountable for the administrative and legislative policies of the village instead of the manager, like it is now. The village's website has a specific link that explains the change in form of government that has been available for almost 2 months. My new salary will only take effect if the form of government changes. The village manager was making over $200,000 per year plus benefits, which totaled $302 for the year of 2025. I will be responsible for most of the duties of the job if the referendum is approved without being paid anything close to a village manager. As to the termination of village manager's contract, no employee matters are ever discussed in public. The public does not have a right to know why any employee is terminated. That is to protect our employees. As to comments from social network experts that claim to be community watchdogs, there are community agitators with very specific personal agendas. They use the FOIA process to take bits and pieces of information and twist it to make it look like the village is always wrong. Their goal is not to be objective, but to mislead residents. As to comments made by Pastor Nylander at the last meeting, they are completely unfair and not warranted. I met with him for over an hour before a board meeting and answered his questions. As to intimidating the churches, completely untrue. If what the pastor was referring to as a program that I wanted, it was a meeting where the village was voting on zoning for the sale of cannabis. Here is the truth. He knew that the board and I were against cannabis sales in the village. The meeting was merely to protect the village if cannabis was allowed to be sold and to control where it could be sold. I then stayed after that meeting to speak to 20 plus members that the pastor brought to that meeting. The board of trustees works together on all aspects of the Bensenville government. For someone to accuse me of controlling them is totally unfair. You don't know them if you think this. Working together, we have held the line on property tax increases and have increased services and programs that we provide to our residents. We're always looking to make Bensenville better. I have always made myself available to talk to residents that have questions, and I'm at the Village Hall Monday through Friday. In closing, just remember this. It is easy to believe everything you see on social media, but in the end, that's not always the truth. Thank you. We will move to public comment. Does anyone wish to address the board? If so, please approach the podium and state your name.
Yes, Susan Foster.
Good evening. My name is Susan Foster, and I am the write-in candidate for village president. I just want to make a remark based on what you just stated. It is not my intent to mislead anyone. My intent to see people are informed. Our gripe as a resident of this village, I want to go back to December 4th, where you stated, "We welcome honest, respectful debate on this topic and look forward to presenting this plan in the coming months." And this is regarding the possible change of form of government. Okay, that was December 4th. We're very close to the election. When you say in the coming months, what month are you referring to? What is the delay? That's what we'd like to know. We want an honest debate. We want open discussion like you promised, and we're not getting it. And it's not fair as a resident of this village to hear you say one thing and then actions are contradicting. So, on behalf of other residents, we just want to know, what is the delay regarding the debate and the comments regarding the change of government? And we know it's based on the vote, but there's a push from this administration for it to go that way. Now, some people ask, what am I? I've been here less than 2 years. What viable candidate am I? If you look back at the village board meetings since December 4th, you can gather enough information from meetings that there's something amiss here. You don't have to live here long to see that. And that's why I'm here tonight. And you can laugh and make faces all you want. But let's face it, you're not following through with what you said, and that's what we would like, a debate and an open discussion before the election, before April 1st. That would be very helpful. Thank you.
Chris Wilkes.
Check. How long do we have?
You have 3 minutes.
If I need an extra 30 seconds, would that be possible? I don't know if I'll need it.
I think we'll give you 30 seconds.
Thank you. Well, by the way, my name is Chris Wilkes, the unofficial pumpkin king of the town. I've been here since 2013. I built my first Halloween display in front of my home in 2014. I love building Halloween displays. It's just something I really enjoy. And my previous town that I lived in, I really didn't get many trick-or-treaters. I lived on kind of a busy road, and people just weren't that into it. And I sort of thought it was going to be status quo, same thing, when I built my first Halloween display. And that year, I got 300-plus trick-or-treaters came to my home. And it was incredible. And every one of them told me how much they loved the Halloween display that I built. And in my head, I thought, if you love this one, just wait till you see what I do next year. And every year following, I just kept making bigger and bigger and better and cooler ones, to the point that we got national recognition in right here in our little town, all over social media, all over the actual media in the news. And the display got so popular, it just outgrew the front of my home. And I had to start letting people know in 2020 that it was going to be my last year building my Halloween displays. And a lot of families and a lot of people were really sad, devastated in a lot of ways, because it had become a family tradition for them to come to my home and celebrate Halloween with me. And at that time, our somewhat newly elected mayor, Frank DeSimone, sought me out. He came to me and said, "Hey, Chris, I've been to your Halloween displays. I've seen the kind of excitement and how much it means to the people in the town. And I'm hearing that you're going to be shutting it down because it's outgrown the front of your home. And I'd just like to throw this out there to you. If you'd like to set it up in the downtown area so that we can keep it going for the residents, I'd like to make that offer." I had to think really long and hard about that, because I am just a resident that loves building Halloween displays. And I did. I made the decision to move it downtown. And 2021 was our first year that we built a Halloween display in the downtown area. My family and I, and of course a bunch of neighbors to volunteer and help. And it was magical. It was very special, and it was unique. And it's the only thing like it in the entire country. Really the entire world. It's the only free Halloween experience you can go to all month long. And again, it's free, which there's almost nothing free left in the world. It's all volunteer driven, and it's magical. It's beautiful. And this year will be our 5th year building the Halloween display. And, I think it is really easy to criticize our elected officials. And it's like when you go to a restaurant, you never write a good review. It's pretty rare. Bad review, for sure. We're going to write that, always. I look at that kind of the same way as politics in a way. It's so easy to criticize, and it's rare that our elected officials get their flowers. And I am a living example of a resident who was sought out by our elected officials and was recognized, and also that elected official recognized how important the Halloween displays I was building was to our town and the residents. And without your leadership, Frank, and the bravery to stand up and do something special for our town, we wouldn't have that. If you didn't come to me, we wouldn't have had these last 4 years, and also what I plan to do this year. And it has been nothing short, and I keep saying it, of magical. And we're going to do it again. And I really appreciate you believing in me and taking a chance on bringing something special to this town, and of course, all the trustees. And there is nothing like Halloween in Bensonville. And Frank, I just don't think I could build this display because it is a huge undertaking for me, for anyone else but you. I really mean that.
Thanks.
Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for staying strong. Please keep your head up. Please keep fighting for us and make Bensonville strong.
You
Thank
got
you.
it, buddy. Thank you. Anybody else?
No, that's it.
This will conclude public comment. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the January 28th, 2025 Village Board meeting?
You have a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any modifications to the minutes? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's six.
Motion carries, the minutes are approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the February 18th, 2025 Special Village Board meeting?
You have a motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Any modifications to those minutes? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's six.
Motion carries, the minutes are approved. The next item of business is to approve the warrant in the amount of $3,268,250.58. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Being a motion and a second, do we have any discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's six.
Motion carries, the warrant is approved. There are no items on the consent agenda. Under Community and Economic Development, ordinance approving a special use transfer request at 485 Podland Drive, Bensonville, Illinois. Is there a motion to approve?
You have a
Do
motion?
I have a second?
Second.
Being a motion and a second, Curtis, are you taking this?
Yep.
Go ahead.
So this is the second transfer request at this property we've had in the last year. So basically, both previous tenants have left, and our special uses are conditioned that they're tied basically to the user in the ordinance. So they have to come back to CDC for a request. So Van Caravan is looking to take over the special use here. All the same conditions that applied to the previous tenant will apply here. They seem like a good operator. CDC did recommend 6-0 to approve this one.
Okay. Sir?
And my name is Jay Kostecki, and I represent Van Carvan. I'm just here to answer any questions
Okay,
that the board
thank
might
you.
have.
Any questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
We're good on that?
Yeah, we're good.
Motion carries, ordinance is passed. Ordinance 2 is granting an amendment to a planned unit development with code departures for 2 hotels and a restaurant at lots 2 and 3 on the Sexton redevelopment property. Is there a motion to approve?
You have a motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Being a motion and a second, do we have discussion, Curtis?
Yeah, so this is a big one. This is our hotel site at Granite County Line. So it's a previously approved and amended PUD, planned unit development, on the site. So there was the initial hotel. They amended it to build a second one and a second upper parking lot. And now they're looking to build 2 more hotels and additional parking, and most likely at least 1 restaurant, possibly a couple more, depending on how much they can fit into the hotels, basically. It's going to be, this is a big project. These hotels are planned to be a little higher end than the 2 hotels that are currently existing. We're really excited about these. Both of them have long-term stay components to them, although that probably won't factor in too much with the way these hotels operate. You're talking maybe 7 days as a longer stay instead of maybe a day or 2. It fits well in the O'Hare market. Both of them roughly, just under 80,000 square feet is the anticipated size of both of these. One of them Could go slightly taller, depending on if he does some additional underground parking, which he's still looking into. I mean, some of that might depend on the site basically and how deep they can go and breaching kind of the cap that is there. This was also, if you remember, this was continued from the previous board meeting because we were still working with the property owner on some conditions, which actually the village manager was able to iron out a couple of the details and get this all squared away. So we're confident that we got a good project moving forward. CDC at their meeting did vote to recommend 5-0 to approve this one. So we're looking for approval here.
Curtis, do we have a name on the flags yet?
Yeah, so let's see if I can find it real quick. Hyatt Studio is going to be the first one being built. Hyatt's been really interested in us for a while. They actually have their testing facilities in town, which is really cool if you haven't been up to them. Up in our industrial district, they basically build test rooms. So their Hyatt Studio, which is a newer concept for them, but still pretty high end. It's a Hyatt, so we're really excited about that one. The other one is supposed to be a dual Hilton brand. It'd be a long term with a shorter term, so kind of a 2-in-1 Hilton. Although we're not quite sure how ironed out those details are. We know the Hyatts are for sure go. He's promised us that the Hilton's ready to go as well. He'd like to basically work on both of these at the same time, or at least the kind of the infrastructure for both of these. But the Hyatt's the one that he wants to get off the ground first, get it up and running.
What about a rough investment on his part?
A lot. I think, and I don't know if I put the numbers in here. I mean, it's tens of millions. I mean, there's a lot of money going into this site. You're also talking, just because we've been, with the new dome over there, we've been having a lot of parking issues. You're talking an additional 300 parking spaces here, and he's looking at potentially more on the site, which helps out for the kind of the whole site there. And part of us working with him in between was working with kind of the dome and him on some sort of parking arrangement to help facilitate when they have busy weekends.
And I know DuPage Tourism is involved in this too.
Yeah, they're big involved with all our hotels, but yeah, they're very interested in. I mean, the whole corner there, they're very very interested, obviously. So, yeah, big project.
Thank you.
Do we know what restaurants are looking at coming in?
Not yet. He's
It's like 8,000 square feet.
yeah, the one was 8 to 10, and that's on the first hotel that he wants to build, the Hyatt. He didn't tell us. He keeps saying it's basically he's looking for higher end there. But now he's talking like he might have some additional concepts that would go into the other hotel on like the ground level. So I mean, there could be additional restaurants going into this space too. But at least one 10,000 square foot pad or 8 to 10,000 square foot pad for a restaurant.
As far as parking is concerned, are they looking at putting like some sort of a deck or?
So on the second hotel, he has one floor of underground parking on the second hotel right now. He's looking at possibly adding an additional floor going down. That'll come down to cost, I think, on his end. It gets pretty expensive to go underground. I think part of it too is because that's the old dump site. There's literally a cap on there that if you breach that, there's all sorts of IEPA things that you would have to go through to get that approval. You basically have to recap it. So part of that might come into play. So he's looking at it. Whether that actually he's able to do that financially wise is probably the big question.
When it's all said and done, all 4 hotels will have over 600 parking spots.
Yeah.
Got it.
Do we have a timeline, Kurt? Do you think when he plans on
He wants to
breaking
get
ground
going
on
high
these? Or?
ASAP. I would think that thing would be done in roughly a year or so. The Hilton probably a little longer out, right? So, but that Hyatt, he's raring to go.
He told me 2026.
Yeah.
spring.
Nice.
Okay.
That's nice.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Any
you.
questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries and ordinance is passed. We have ordinance designated certain properties as surplus and authorizing the disposal of the same. Is there a motion to approve?
You have a motion?
Do I have a second? Being a motion, a second, Joe, what do we have?
Yep, so periodically, the village puts forth a surplus ordinance to declare items no longer needed for disposal. Tonight's ordinance has 7 vehicles and 1 plotter on the list for surplus. Each of these items has either been replaced or is no longer needed for the operations of the village. Typically, the vehicles will go on to an online auction, and equipment is sold or disposed of in the most economical and environmentally safe manner. So staff does recommend approval of this ordinance.
Any questions from our board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries and ordinance is passed. Two is a resolution authorizing the execution of a 3-year contract with the Fields on Canton Farm for 2025 through 2027 tree purchase and delivery contract in the not to exceed amount of $152,450. Is there a motion?
You have a
Do I have
motion.
a second?
Second.
Being a motion, a second, Joe?
Yep, so the Forestry Division of Public Works performs tree planting twice each year, once in the spring and once in the fall. Our annual program typically consists of 120 trees being planted and is supported by both the general fund and a developer tree fund. The village was recently awarded a tree equity grant in the amount of $64,000 for the purchase and installation of an additional 250 trees over the next 3 years. So therefore, we're excited to bring forth a program that will plant 610 new trees in our parkways over the next 3 years. Staff recently went out to bid for the purchase of 610 trees. Village staff will actually will perform the installation in-house. 3 contractors submitted bids at our January 19th bid opening. The Fields on Canton Farm, which is located in Crest Hill, submitted the lowest responsible and complete bid in the amount of $152,450 for the 3-year total. The Fields is a new contractor with the village, so we did perform some background checks, and we are pleased with the results that we got. So staff does recommend approval of this 3-year contract.
Any questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries, the resolution is approved. 3 is a resolution authorizing the approval of a 4-year contract, 2025 through 2028, with Consulting Engineering Incorporated for leak detection services and the not to exceed amount of $55,360. Is there a motion to approve?
You have a motion.
Do I have a second? Being a motion, a second, Joe, you have discussion?
Yep, so the Utilities Division of Public Works performs an annual leak detection program to identify any leaks, small or large, within our water distribution system. Leaks of any kind can result in our village users paying more for lost water, basically. The leak survey consists of utilizing listening technology to identify potential leaks and pinpointing those leaks for evaluation. Historically, the program identifies between 15 and 20 leaks per year. Some of them are small little leaks on fire hydrants. Some of them can be large leaks that, we find and we do repairs on them as we find them. Staff recently went out to bid for a 4-year contract for these services. 2 contractors submitted bids at our January 29th bid opening. Consulting Engineering, Inc., or CEI, submitted the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $55,360 for the 4-year contract. CEI has worked with the village on our last leak detection service project, and we were very happy with the results. So staff does recommend approval of this 4-year contract.
Any questions from our board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. 4 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with Clark Environmental Mosquito Management Incorporated for the 2025 mosquito abatement services, including insecticide tablets, in the not to exceed amount of $41,888. Is there a motion?
You have a motion.
Do I have a second?
You have a second.
Being a motion and a second, Joe, we have discussion?
Yep, so Clark has performed our mosquito abatement program for over 20 years now. The program includes 4 basic tasks, those being general services, which is surveying, mapping, and doing any sort of public relations or consultations regarding mosquitoes of any kind. So if anybody ever has a question about mosquitoes, we push them into Clark's direction, and they are more than happy to respond with some education and information. The second task is surveying and monitoring. So this includes weather monitoring, mosquito tracking, flood mitigation. So they are out and about in our communities, monitoring traps, placing traps, and talking with the DuPage County Public Health Department on their traps and making recommendations on how to address any sort of mosquitoes that come out to us. The third is larval control. Includes 8 larval site monitoring inspections, larval control spraying, and tablet installation training for staff. So again, we try to get these mosquitoes before they become too big and wreak havoc on our skin and our residents. The fourth task is adult control. This includes adult mosquito spraying for Music in the Park, Liberty Fest, and any community-wide spraying that may be necessary as conditions come up. So Clark has been doing this for years for us. They did increase their price according to the CPI of 3% in the past year. So their current price to run the program is $31,548. But we also buy our, it's called Naturla tablets. These are little tablets that we put in our catch basins to help with, obviously a catch basin holds water. We want to make sure that we're controlling the mosquitoes that like to go into those baths. So we drop tablets into all of our catch basins each spring. So we purchased the tablets from Clark as part of this program. That cost is $10,340, which makes our total grand cost of $41,888. Clark does continue to perform the work with exceptional quality and service to our residents. They also provide mosquito abatement for every DuPage County municipality and township that offers a program. So it's our recommendation to approve this one-year contract.
Questions from our board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. 5 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a construction engineering service agreement to Thomas Engineering Group LLC for the 2024 CDBG project Argyle and Twin Oaks roadway and water main improvements in the not to exceed amount of $137,575. Is there a motion?
Yeah,
Do I
motion.
have a second?
Second.
Being a motion and a second, do we have discussion?
So these next two items on the agenda will relate to this project, and I'm happy to present, this is our first major infrastructure project. We're gonna get off the ground here in 2025. It is the Argyle and Twin Oaks roadway and water main improvements. Argyle Street is in desperate need of new water main replacement, storm sewer improvements, and roadway improvements due to the age in its existing infrastructure. Twin Oak Street, which is Marshall to the east end, is in need of roadway improvements, including curb and gutter, sidewalks, and ADA upgrades. These two roadways fall within our census blocks that are eligible for DuPage County Community Development Block Grant funding. So we took advantage of that and applied back in October of 2021 to try to get $600,000 worth of CDBG funds. We were successful in getting that. It's now time to spend that money. And the CDBG program is a reimbursable program in which we front the cost for the construction, and then they reimburse us based off of our invoices. The scope of work proposed includes the installation of approximately 900 linear feet of 8-inch ductile iron water main, approximately 1,100 feet of new storm sewer, enhanced resurfacing of roadway pavement, curb and gutter replacement, spot sidewalk replacement, driveway replacement, ADA sidewalk upgrades, and landscape restoration. So the first item for you tonight on this project is the construction engineering. Staff reached out to Thomas Engineering as one of our shortlisted consultants. Thomas Engineering brings forth an experienced project team that has successfully provided us similar services for the village on our previous CDBG projects, so they know the paperwork component of a grant opportunity like this. The proposed assignment includes on-site inspection, review of the project layout, construction documentation, material testing, preparation of record drawings, and all the CDBG paperwork to help the village ensure that we receive the full amount of funding. The work effort and fee after negotiations with Thomas was $137,575. So it is staff's recommendation to approve this contract.
Any questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. 6 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a construction contract to Aqua Contractors Corporation of Elmhurst for 2024 CDBG project Argyle and Twin Oaks roadway and water main improvements in a not to exceed amount of $1,135,000. Is there a motion to approve?
You have a
Do we have
motion.
a second?
Second.
Being a motion and second, Joe?
Yep, so this is the second item. This is for the actual construction. Staff recently went out to bid for this project. 9 contractors submitted bids at our February 11th bid opening. Aqua Contractors Corporation submitted the lowest bid in the amount of $1.135 million. Aqua has recently completed 2 projects for the village back in 2024 successfully, so staff does recommend approval of this construction contract.
Questions from our board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries and the resolution is approved. 7 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with Midwest Mechanical for the installation of a complete boiler package for the snow melt system at the Edge 2 ice rink in the not to exceed amount of $150,000. Is there a motion to approve?
Yeah, motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
There being a motion and a second, Joe?
Yeah, so these next 3 items will all consist of facility improvements at our ice rinks. Both of our ice rinks are approaching 30 years in age, so they're starting to show signs of their age and their wear and tear. Village staff maintains the snow melt system within the Jefferson Street Edge facility. Snow melt system basically melts the ice shavings from the ice resurfacer within a pit and discharges the resulting water into a drain. This is how we get all the ice off the off the surfaces so that they can have nice, smooth ice to skate on. The current system is aging and not keeping up with the demands of the operation, so Village is seeking to install a new boiler system that will ensure that the snow from the ice rink melts in an appropriate time frame. The new boiler system will also save significant time and labor for staff. So staff sought proposals from 3 qualified vendors. Midwest Mechanical submitted the lowest proposal in the amount of $146,845. Midwest Mechanical has performed work for the village in the past with great success, so staff does recommend approval of this contract.
Any questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. 8 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with Automatic Building Controls, ABC, for the installation of a building automation system, BAS, at the John Street Ice Rink, in the not to exceed amount of $27,200. Is there a motion?
You have a
Do
motion.
I have a second?
Second.
Being a motion, a second, Joe?
So what is a BAS? So a building automation system can save thousands of dollars annually in energy cost alone by just allowing the equipment to be on schedules and timing. It's kind of, we talk a lot about SCADA. It's a way to control the HVAC systems, the dehumidification systems, all the components of a facility remotely, using software, using technology. We can set things to go on and off at certain times instead of them just being on all day. So a BAS system has been very beneficial to the village. We've installed them in a number of our facilities already. So as time and money allows, we try to get these into the rest of our facilities. So John Street Ice Rink is our next one that we'd like to perform this changeover to. The BAS system will be built on the same platform that our current systems are, so that we can go to one software package and see all of our buildings and do all of the maintenance and monitoring that we need to. Staff sought proposals from 3 qualified vendors. Automatic Building Controls, or ABC, submitted the lowest proposal in the amount of $27,200. ABC assisted with the installation of our other BAS systems at the police station and Public Works over the past 2 years, so staff does recommend approval of this contract.
Any questions from our board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. 9 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with F.E. Moran for the installation of cooling tower sump tank and evaporator retubing at the John Street Ice Rink in the not to exceed amount of $190,635.60. Is there a motion to approve?
You have a
Do I
motion?
have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, Joe?
Yep, so a lot of facilities mumbo jumbo and terms here that you may never hear again. But recently, we've been witnessing a lot of our important components of our ice making system kind of going in the wrong direction based on the age again. During budget preparations, we evaluated the potential of repairing or replacing certain components or consider a complete rink replacement. The complete rink replacement was in the $4.5 to $5 million range. We thought we can start picking these away one by one and try to do it in a much more economical fashion. So the first one we're looking at doing here is a current evaporator and cooling tower sump tank are original to the building. The sump pump, or the sump tank is currently compromised and it's leaking. So again, the sump tank is what the cooling tower, it has water that goes over the evaporator that cools down the ice, which makes ice for us, and then it gets dumped into this tank. The tank has got leaks, we need to replace the tank. The evaporator itself is made up of a bunch of tubes inside. Instead of replacing the entire evaporator, we feel we can just go ahead and replace some of the guts, if you will, inside with this project, so we can save a lot of money on a complete replacement. Staff sought proposals from 3 specific and qualified contractors to perform the work. And again, a lot of this work is very specific, especially when you get into HVAC and refrigeration. It's very hard to find good qualified contractors, but we've been lucky enough to get multiple ones that are submitting proposals for us. F.E. Moran submitted the most responsible bid on this project in the amount of $190,635.60. F.E. Moran is a new company to us. We did do a lot of background checking. Everything came back great. So staff does recommend the approval of this contract with F.E. Moran.
Questions from our board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. Going on to recreation, there's a resolution amendment to the resolution R-10-2025 approving a sales agreement with Nevco scoreboards to replace the Edge on Jefferson West scoreboard in the not to exceed amount of $49,329.65. Is there a motion to approve?
Yeah, motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Being a motion is second. Sean, would you like to take that over?
Yeah, as you can see, this is just an amendment to last month's resolution. We ordered a scoreboard through Nevco. Corrected digital displays will be performing the installation. So instead of paying Nevco for the scoreboard, we are paying Corrected Digital Displays for the installation and scoreboard, who then in turn will go on and pay Nevco.
Questions from our board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's six.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. Couple of village presidents' remarks. There are still tickets available for this year's Honor Flight Chicago hockey game, which will be held on Saturday, March 1st. The doors open at 4:30 and the puck drops at 6. So for more information and ticketing, please see the village website. The Water's Edge Aquatic Center has begun evening swim, new to the 2025 Aquatic Center. So Monday through Friday, evenings, it's written wrong. Enjoy swimming in the evening in an indoor climate-controlled pool. Please see the village website for hours. That concludes presidential remarks. Do we have a village manager's report?
Just one quick thing, Your Honor. The Bensonville Police Department is currently accepting applications for entry-level and lateral-level police officers. Please visit the village's website for qualifications on testing and application information. That's all.
Do we have a village attorney report?
I have no report, Mr.
Is there
President.
any unfinished business come before the board today? None? Any new business come before the board today? Is there a need for executive session?
There is not.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
You have a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's six.
Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.